bells, Santa Claus, snow to give, the birth of baby Jesus.
Lights and bells.
Gifts and sitting around a fireplace opening presents.
Love, tree.
Santa Claus, toys, colors, thanks, presents, food.
Happy, fun, decorations, and that kind of thing.
A time when families get together and have a celebration and give out gifts.
The birth of Jesus and the time when everybody gets together and celebrates.
Joy, happiness.
It's a time of sharing and love to everyone.
Christmas. It means so many wonderful things.
It's like a kaleidoscope, an endless variety of colorful sights and sounds magically changing before our very eyes.
Tonight, we'd like for you to join us on Young World's Christmas Kaleidoscope.
You'll hear beautiful caroling, see shimmering trees, and all the things that put light and wonder in the eyes of children of all ages.
Like toys, for instance. You'll see all sorts of toys, old and new. We'll have a special guest. Did you hear that, Marge? It sounded like a ho-ho-ho.
Shh, don't give it away now. We want to share with you, too, the religious meaning of this season.
Is it time yet?
No, not yet.
No, it's not time yet, but I think we have something wonderful for everyone watching.
So join us for a peek in Young World's Christmas Kaleidoscope.
Young World's Christmas Kaleidoscope, a colorful spectrum of religion, gifts, gatherings, and the celebration of this joyous holiday season. Come share the magic with us. Our program will return after these messages. Now, let's return to our program.
You know, one of my favorite things at Christmas time has to be the goodies, the Christmas food. It's delicious.
You are so right, Connor. And you know, another one of the lovely sparkling parts of our Christmas kaleidoscope is the wonderful tradition of Christmas caroling.
I think I hear some now.
I think you're right.
Great. Y'all gonna sing to us?
Uh-huh.
All right. All right, sing one for us.
Angels we have heard the heart singing sweetly through the night. Stars glow mountains every cloud, echoing the brave delight. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds guide this jubilee, worthy sons of happy cheer. Lord, great majesty to see, what great tidings did you hear? Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Come to Bethlehem and see, in whose land the angels sing. Come adore bended knee, Christ the joyful newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Singing in our manger lane, who the angels praise above. Mary, Joseph, and Joanne, while we raise our hearts in love. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Thank you, boys. That was just beautiful, and I thank you for coming by and singing to me. And I want to wish everybody all over Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas.
Is it time yet?
Not quite,
No, it's not
Santa,
time
not
yet.
quite. You know, Connor, when you think about Santa Claus, what do you think of?
Well, if you've been bad, you have to think of switches.
Uh-oh.
But if you've been good, I think you can think of toys at Christmas time.
You know what? I think you're exactly right. And I think it's time for us to take a look at some wonderful toys of yesterday and some of the toys of today.
Let's do that right now.
Under these golden angel wings, the old-fashioned Christmas tree gleams like a dream of the past. Many decorations were carefully made with loving hands, but under the tree were the toys the children of yesterday wished for. Reindeer pulling sleighs and other cast-iron toys were Santa's gifts for little boys. Just look closely. There was something here for everyone among these toys of yesteryear. There's a telegraph set. What fun! It's complete with a hat. And a wooden train. Well, they are still popular today, aren't they? This one looks like it's had many hours of happy play. And see the miniature sewing machine? It's great because it really sews tiny little doll clothes. Here's a Shirley Temple set. She was a famous child movie star of the past. And now we see wooden blocks again. Look at these, so beautifully hand-painted. Even then, they must have made it fun to learn. Clang, clang, there goes the fire wagon. Watch out. Now, Lincoln logs have been around for a long, long time, for little boys and girls, too. People made many toys of yesterday. For instance, here's a Depression train, and it was made from old coffee cans and buttons and such. You know, a very lucky child, though, might have hoped to receive this miniature horse with real horsehair all over, from his flowing mane to his luxurious tail. He pulls a hand-cranked musical wagon or a calliope. Can't you just hear the cheerful music of yesterday? The dolls of yesterday were very different from the ones you see today. Instead of being made of plastic, they were often made of porcelain or china. Their high chairs were wooden, their carriages were wicker and had wooden wheels. Look at this exquisite French doll with the beautiful blue glass eyes. Oh, she was a picture of fashion in her lace-trimmed pink dress and her fancy feathered and lace hat. More than 100 years ago, she was some little girl's Christmas surprise. Sweet dreams of yesterday's children are these antique dolls. Your great or even great-great-grandmother's eyes would have lit up if she found one of these lovely dolls under her tree on Christmas morning. They were beautifully dressed in the fashions of those days, and just as treasured as any little girl's best doll could ever be. Where do dolls live? Why, in a dollhouse, of course. Here's a wonderful miniature house, all set for Christmas, too. A tiny kitchen complete with tiny pots and pans, and even a tiny turkey. And now we see bedrooms and bathrooms, dining rooms, and even a perfect little patio. Everything works in this house, even the wonderful chandeliers, and it's making me sad to say that it's time to say goodbye now to our little South Fork. What fun to have such a magical house as this one. Now, here's a colorful whirligig made in the 1880s showing tireless woodsmen at work, one chopping and the other sawing on wood. A very famous airplane was the Spirit of St. Louis, and here's a wooden pedal toy made like it.
If you look closely, you'll see that that pedal looks a great deal like the new ones, except the new ones are plastic. Now here are some of the more popular gifts you'll find under just about anybody's Christmas tree this year. And in a way, they look a lot like some of the older toys, some of the antiques you just saw. Of course, way back in the old days, they didn't have Smurfs. But we do now. Smurfs in all sizes, one of the most requested toys. But more requested than E.T.? Well, it's too hard to tell. E.T.'s pretty popular. There's E.T. jewelry, E.T. pinups, E.T. talking figures, E.T. dolls. Dolls have always been around, probably always will. This year, Miss Strawberry Shortcake is at the top of the doll mountain with a lot of competition, but she's probably on top, followed closely by Baby Lemon Meringue. Strawberry Shortcake and Baby Lemon Meringue. With the exception of E.T., they have to be two of the cutest dolls anywhere in the world. Games are still in gifts, but they have a slightly different look today. There he is, the toy that moves. Moving toys are always popular, and they come in all sizes and all shapes.
That's right, Connor. You know, toys and presents are nice to get, but there's even more fun in giving them, especially to a great cause, like the Ronald McDonald Houses.
The Ronald McDonald Houses are nationwide, and they're for parents to stay in while their children are in a hospital away from their hometown.
Here at the A.J. Paddock's Christmas party, the gifts were brought to be sent to those children and their parents. This makes the true spirit of Christmas really come to life for everyone.
It's the time of year to think about caring and sharing. That's the spirit of Christmas.
Hey, looks like our special guest may be here.
Well, let's go find a good place by the tree to wait for him to arrive.
Jingle balloons, jingle all the way.
There he is.
Oh, hi! Everybody loves music at Christmas. Hi, Marge.
You're so
Hi,
wrong.
Hey, Ronald.
You got one of my balloons, didn't you?
Is this an early Christmas present?
You sneaky. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's great. What are we ready to do?
We're all set to go have some fun with our pal Ronald McDonald. Right in here,
come
Bob?
on. Let's all go
All
together,
right,
okay?
here we go.
Our program will return after these messages. Now, let's return to our program.
You know, Christmas is always a lot of fun. This is a fun time of the year, but it's probably a lot more than just having fun, isn't it?
You're right, Connor, absolutely. You know, Christmas is a time for caring and for sharing. And for some, it's even a special religious time of year. For example, there's a magic feast of lights that some celebrate, and for others, it's that very, very special time of a very special birthday.
Christmas is a very special and beautiful time of the year. In the context of the Christian faith, we celebrate Christmas by the beginning of the Advent season. The word Advent comes from Adventus, meaning the coming of Christ. We celebrate it with the Advent candles and the Advent wreath. There are 4 smaller candles and 1 large candle in the middle. 1 candle is lighted for each of the 4 Sundays, and then on Christmas Day, we light the final candle in the middle, the Christ candle. In many churches, there also will be a Christmas tree. It is a traditional Christmas tree with a special kind of ornamentation. The Christmas on the tree mean Christ monograms. They are the very special symbols of the Christian faith, which you will see in many other parts of the church, but here they are placed on the tree to remind us of the meaning of the Christian faith. Also, something that is traditional to us all is the nativity scene. Many times children and sometimes grown people do not understand the theological words incarnation, but they do understand the meaning of the word love and sharing and caring as is presented in the nativity scene. When we see Mary and Joseph and the child and all of those who surround that scene, our hearts are moved with a great sense of joy.
This is the second night of Hanukkah, a festival that reminds us of the time in 165 BC that a group of people known as the Maccabees rededicated the temple that had been destroyed 3 years earlier by the mighty Syrian armies. The Maccabees knew that although they were few in number and the Syrians were mighty and many, that they were doing the Lord's work and that they would be able to defeat the Syrians and once again rededicate the temple that had been ransacked. The eternal light had been put out, and many of the instruments and ornaments of the temple destroyed. When the Maccabees went back into the temple to rekindle the everlasting light, there was only enough oil to last for one day. But a miracle occurred, and that little bit of oil lasted 8 full days until new oil could be prepared. The temple was rededicated, and the people sang with joy. In our temple on this night, we also light a candelabra, 2 candles for the 2 nights of Hanukkah. And in our homes, we celebrate also with our own menorahs, lighting again 1 candle for each night. So we celebrate our Hanukkah festival each year.
See, there it works, you know?
Just like Christmas.
Beautiful. Well, you know, Christmas is tradition. It's
Like
filled with tradition.
Jingle bells and Christmas stockings.
That's exactly right. And you know, one really special tradition that's carried on in homes all over our country is the traditional story time.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in the hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there rose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of a new-fallen snow gave a luster of midday to the objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Dunder and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky, so up to the housetops the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back. He looked like a peddler just unloading his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was white as the snow. The stump of pipe he held tight in his teeth. The smoke encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was a chubby and plump, right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh and to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Our program will return after these messages. Now, let's return to our program.
Oh, we certainly hope you've enjoyed all the magical sights and sounds of Young World's Christmas Kaleidoscope.
That's right. We hope you have a very happy and safe holiday season.
You're exactly right.
Yes, it's time.
It's time for us all to wish everyone a very what, girls and boys?
Merry Christmas! Right. Merry Christmas.
Good evening and Merry Christmas. I'm Rich Thomas. Well, it's hard to believe. It's finally here, the biggest night of the year, Christmas Eve. The sun has already gone down and Santa has begun his trip around the world. We thought you might want to pause from all this hustle and bustle to enjoy some of the magic of this holiday season with us. And one of the main elements that makes this season so magic is the music of Christmas. So during the next half hour, we'll be hearing some traditional Christmas favorites as performed by 4 local Montgomery area high school choirs, including the Jefferson Davis Davisinians, the Sidney Lanier Singers, the Carver Senior High Singers, and the Robert E. Lee Choralees. Now, if you're into Christmas as much as I am, this should be a treat. So while the smell of the Christmas Eve dinner cooking fills your home, sit back and enjoy the music with us. First, we'll hear from the Jefferson Davis Davisinians under the direction of Mrs. Virginia Jones.
For by my sheep I watched at night, glad tidings brought an angel bright. How great my joy, great my joy, 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 joy. Praise me the Lord in heaven on high, praise me the Lord in heaven on high. There shall be born, so he did say, in Bethlehem a child today. How great my joy, great my joy, 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 joy. Praise me the Lord in heaven on high, praise me the Lord in heaven on high. There shall he lie in manger mean, who shall redeem the world from sin. How great my joy, great my joy, 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 joy. Praise me the Lord in heaven on high, praise me the Lord in heaven on high. Lord, evermore to me be nigh, then shall my heart be filled with joy. How great my joy, great my joy, 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 joy. Praise me the Lord in heaven on high, praise me the Lord in heaven on high. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old. Ding and a ball, ding dong ding dong, that is the song. Ding dong ring, dong caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising the sound, or in a dell, telling the tale. In the ring, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here, ding dong ding dong, that is the song. Ding dong ring, dong caroling. Dawn on this end, dawn without end. Ding dong dong, ding merry ho. Dong carol bells, sweet silver bells, fall sing to sing, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old. Ding and the ball, ding dong ding dong, that is their song. Ding dong ring, dong caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising the sound, or in a dell, telling the tale. In the ring, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here, ding dong ding dong, that is the song. Ding dong ring, dong caroling. Dawn on this end, dawn without end. Ding dong dong, ding merry ho. Dawn on this end, dawn without end. Their joyful tones to every home. Ding dong, ding dong. We've got good news to tell. Glory, glory, hallelujah. We've got good news to tell. Glory, glory, hallelujah. We've got good news to tell. Everybody listen well, for this tiny baby who's born today is gonna change the world. We've got good news. Good news, we've got good news. Yes, we've got good news. Good news, we've got good news. While they saw a star shining bright in the night, lighting up the heavens, what a glorious sight. Then our red balls never rain to the world, and the night of news, with the got good news. Good news, we've got good news. Yes, we've got good news. Good news, we've got good news. Oh, they came from the fields and the hills far away, just to see the baby asleep in the hay. They were filled with joy when they saw the tiny king, and they all went out with a song to sing. We've got good news to tell, glory, glory, hallelujah. We've got good news to tell, glory, glory, hallelujah. We've got good news to tell, everybody listen well, for this tiny baby who's born today is going to change the world. We've got good news to tell, glory, glory, hallelujah. We've got good news to tell, glory, glory, hallelujah. We've got good news to tell, everybody listen well, for this tiny baby, born today, will change the whole wide world.
Some fine Christmas music from the Jefferson Davis Davisinians. And next up, we're going to hear from another local Montgomery High School choir, the Sidney Lanier Singers. They're under the direction of Mr. Thomas Holloman, and they have for us a medley of Christmas carols, beginning with O Tannenbaum.
O Tannenbaum, wie trossen deinem Blätter. O Tannenbaum, wie trossen deinem Blätter. Du grüßt nicht nur zur Sommerzeit, nein auch im Winter, wenn es schneit. O Tannenbaum, wie trossen deinem Blätter. O Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches. O Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches. Not only green when summer's here, but in the coldest time of year. O Christmas tree, how lovely are thy branches. O Christmas tree,
There, that should do it. And we're just about to get our TV12 tree in order. Hope yours is. And we hope you're enjoying this presentation of holiday music featuring the talents of high school choirs from around Montgomery. Now, we just heard from the Sidney Lanier Singers, and still to come, we have the Carver High Singers and also the Robert E. Lee Choralees. A Christmas gift to you from our house to yours. Well, one thing's for sure, I know this is not another tie. Well, I'll tell you what, while I'm checking out the presents under the tree here, our collection of joyful holiday music continues as we hear from the 58 members of the Carver Senior High Singers. They're under the direction of Mrs. Pamela Beasley, performing the carols of Christmas and Joy to the World.
Shine.
I'm afraid you caught me here, just enjoying some of the holiday delights. A little bit of fruitcake. Those were the Carver Senior High Singers for you on this Christmas Eve 1982. Now we still have one more group to entertain us this evening. They come to us from Robert E. Lee High here in Montgomery, and they are the Robert E. Lee Choralees. They're under the direction of Mrs. Jean Davis with a medley of Christmas favorites.
Christmas is coming, the geese are getting fat. Please to put a penny in the old man's hat. Please to put a penny in the old man's hat. Christmas is coming, the geese are getting fat. Please to put a penny, won't you please? A penny, one little penny. Oh, please to put a penny in the old man's hat. us some penny, bring 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 us penny, bring some out here. Good tidings I bring to you and your kin. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Fine job by the Robert E. Lee Choralees. We'd like to thank them and the rest of the high school groups that were with us this evening, the Jefferson Davis Davisinians, the Sidney Lanier High Singers, and the Carver Senior High Singers. Now we'll have some final words in just a moment. I was just looking at this Christmas card I got in the mail today. It says, Christmas is a time of joy and beauty and a time to wish pleasant things for wonderful people like you. And that's really the way we feel about you. We want to thank you for joining us this evening, and we want to remind you that later on this evening on TV 12, we hope you'll join Sydney and I for a special PM magazine from Montgomery's Court Square, and we'll share a couple of special Christmas stories with you. And then later tonight at 10:30, NBC will present The Sounds of Christmas Eve, hosted by Doc Severinsen. So until later this evening, all of us here at TV 12 would like to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas from our house to yours.